Well, at last, fellow colleagues and lovers of model aircraft and tanks and trains and planes, the Blackburn Beverley is completed and it is off to Yorkshire tomorrow, which is interesting because that's where the Beverleys came from, to Yorkshire. Now, this one is not going down to coal mine. This is my dad's model kit, which I have finally finished for him. The deadline to get it up before Christmas was tomorrow, and I've done the best job I can. Is it perfect? No. Have I run out of the Lightstone paint? Yes. So can I do the scheme as accurately as I wanted? Not at present. However, it is done, it is finished, and this is one of those kits. I'm quite glad this is a one-off. Some kits I build 15 of, like the Grippin. Some I build 8 of, like the J10. Some I build 4 or 5 of, like the FC31s and the Mantellas. I built 3. But in this case, why is there a fly trying to land on it? What are flies doing in October? In this case, I'm very glad this is a one-off. This is a resin kit where you have to cut all the bits off. Now, it is not an easy kit by any means. And yes, there is a step here where the cockpit piece joins. I've kind of given up on correcting it now because everything I do to this kit just results in more damage. So it's always a good idea with model kits when you reach the limit of your current limitations as a modeler to just call it a day before you wreck it. I have tried to touch up various details and have started to, like I said, do damage. So one of the wings actually fell off this morning here. So that has had some remedial patching work. Now, I did airbrush this, but I've had to do some touch-ups with the brush. Mainly because I've actually run out of the 71423 Vallejo Lightstone paint. So yes, there is a bit of inaccuracy on this side with the camouflage pattern. However, I've done the best I can with the paint available. I have also run out of dark earth paint. Now, the Blackburn Beverley underneath on this model is all gloss black, which looks rather nice. Now, I guess that was some kind of finish that they put on because the Beverley was the equivalent of the RAF C-17 for its day. The Beverley could carry 23,000 kilograms over short distances, and it could do rough field landings. So whereas something like the C-124 Globemaster II was a American heavy lift at a contemporary with a 34,000 kilogram payload, it wasn't really a rough field tactical transporter in the same way that Beverley was. So the Beverley was used in the 1960s in Yemen and the last days of the British colonial battles. It was used to transport things like Saracens, Saladins, plant equipment. It could drop paratroops. It had a what do you call them? Passenger area here, the crew area here, the wing spars here, and then your large cargo hold underneath with doors, clamshell doors at the rear. And the elephant's foot, as it was called, went underneath to support it. And that's good because these resin models weigh so much. The pressure on the gear is intense. So I'm quite glad that I've put that on there to support it. So it's really a double height fuselage aircraft. Good payload, good ability to lift into rough airstrips. And that was really what it was used for. The Beverley didn't have the longest service, but it was very robust. It wasn't the fastest aircraft, and its nickname was the Flying Oil Slick. But really for its day, with what it delivered, it was like the C-17 in the sense that if you had something that needed to be tactically airlifted in, it could do it. And that was a great attribute and asset for the plane. Very robust. It's a fixed wheel undercarriage. It looks ungainly in flight. Yes, they did go to Vietnam to deliver some flood relief, but it did its job. Bristol Centaurus engines, I think, and yeah, just a reliable, simple, robust aircraft. Now, the combat kit is combative. It's very difficult. You have to saw everything off. You have to cut and trim everything. The fuselage was badly warped. This canopy, I don't like how it fits, but because it's an acrylic resin piece, I can't really do a lot to pull that back in. These white bits here, that's just where PVA is drying. Some of the windows I have just painted on with the blue rather than drilling them out. Yeah, I could drill them out, but to be honest, the amount of work and the time frame that I've got doesn't really allow that. I really wanted to get this done for the trip to Yorkshire tomorrow with the kids to see their granddad and grandma. And yes, it's done. So it's not perfect by any means, but I really like it. Now, would I build another one of these? No. Is the kit available now? I don't think so. Did the Malagasy What If Air Force use these? Yes, they certainly did. So it's a dual purpose kind of transport. My dad builds real models like RAF planes. He's got the RAF Fleet Air Arm, etc., collection. I build What If, but the Beverley would have been in What If Malagasy service as well. The RAF actually for the time had a really good transport setup. They had Comet 4Bs, they had, I think there were 4Bs, I might be wrong on that. They had the Beverley for tactical stuff like the C-17. They had the short Belfast for strategic transport, which wasn't tactical. And they had the Argosy as the tactical lifter. They had the Twin Pioneer. They had the Pioneer. So they really had a really good mix of types and aircraft to do various functions. And it was the last days of the colonial empire, thankfully, and Britain was overstretched at that point. The economy was struggling back home, and tough decisions were made in the late 60s. Oh, flies annoying. And that really was the end of the British presence past Suez. So these aircraft didn't have the longest of lives because the British economy basically meant massive drawbacks from empire, the end of empire. This was one of the last aircraft to be used, I think, in that role, and then pulling everything back. I really like the Beverley. I think it's just a nice, solid, simple design. And to me, this is the C-17 of its day. Take care. Goodbye.